You ever notice how some people look at a perfectly normal location, a library aisle, a hardware store ladder, a public fountain, and think, yes, this is the moment destiny has prepared me for? It's like common sense took one long look at humanity and quietly filed for bankruptcy. Because apparently, nothing says romance like fluorescent lighting, questionable surfaces, and a high likelihood of security footage. And trust me, whatever you think is the peak of poor decision making, you're about to find out people have climbed much, much higher. The real madness is still ahead. 1. Let's begin with the couple who decided the most romantic place on earth wasn't Paris, Venice, or even a half-decent hotel room. No, it was the changing room of a sporting goods store. Nothing says passion like fluorescent lighting and the faint scent of old rubber from discount yoga mats. According to security, they thought the tiny changing cubicle granted them privacy, which is adorable considering half the store heard them and the other half saw the whole thing through a mirror angled perfectly toward the hallway. When employees knocked, the couple pretended to be trying on skiing equipment, which is hilarious because nothing about what they were doing involved balance, coordination, or any kind of gear. If anything, the only sport happening was competitive bad decision making, and they were going for Olympic gold. 2. Next, we have the genius duo who decided that the best place to get intimate was a hospital elevator. Yes, a place specifically designed to transport sick people and grieving relatives apparently screamed date night to them. They got stuck between floor, which is already embarrassing, but they escalated the situation by explaining to rescue personnel that they were comforting each other. Comforting, sure. I'm sure the grandmother waiting for her chemotherapy appointment felt very comforted knowing the elevator she needed was temporarily out of service because two aspiring acrobats decided this was the perfect time to reenact a deeply discounted version of Grey's Anatomy. When the doors opened, they were greeted by a full medical team and one janitor who instantly regretted choosing that shift. 3. For fact 3, I give you the brave couple who chose the public library, because nothing sets the mood like dusty encyclopedias and the existential sadness of outdated computer catalogs. They insisted they were being quiet, which is hilarious, because the library staff described the noise as less whisper, more National Geographic documentary. When they were caught, the man actually said, "But no one was using this aisle." Yes, that's generally how aisles work. You don't book them like hotel rooms. The funniest part, they were in the local history section, positioned directly next to a display about Victorian-era morality. The irony could have knocked a monk unconscious. 4. Now, let's talk about the couple who thought a jacuzzi at a luxury resort was basically a private love cauldron. They seemed genuinely shocked when other guests complained, as if jacuzzis come with a do whatever you want fast pass. The woman later defended herself with the iconic line, "It's a body of water. It's natural. Ma'am, it's chlorinated tap water with 14 stranger sunscreen swirling in it, not a secluded waterfall at the end of a spiritual quest." Staff described the scene as deeply unmagical, which is corporate language for oh God, my eyes. Shockingly, they were asked to leave the resort, which they took as discrimination against free spirits. Yes, absolutely. You were banned for your spiritual glow, not because you turned family-friendly amenities into a biology hazard. 5. Fifth, we honor the couple who chose a park bench at 2 p.m. on a sunny Saturday because apparently witnessing children, joggers, and retirees wasn't enough of a deterrent. They claimed the setting was romantic. I'm not sure what's romantic about pigeons, strollers, and a man power washing gum off the pavement, but sure, love your fantasy. A passing dog walker had to call park rangers because the couple genuinely believed that closing our eyes makes us invisible. A bold strategy, not effective but bold. When confronted, the man said, "We thought we were hidden by the tree." The tree in question was a skinny sapling that wouldn't hide a squirrel. Honestly, the tree deserved an apology. 6. Fact. 6 brings us to the couple who couldn't resist the forbidden allure of a car wash tunnel. You know, That automated conveyor belt full of spinning brushes designed to remove dirt from metal, not add chaos to human flesh. They thought it would be exciting. Instead, they nearly drowned in soap foam and learned firsthand why romance and industrial machinery don't mix. Employees hit the emergency stop button, which froze the entire tunnel and immediately broadcast their silhouettes onto the fogged up plastic walls like the world's trashiest shadow puppet show. Their explanation: we thought it would be like in the movies. Yes, of course. Hollywood famously films intimate scenes inside rotating microfiber cylinders that slap you in the face. 7. Here's a classic. The couple who chose a restaurant bathroom during peak dinner hours. They were caught after customers reported aggressive giggling and weird thumping. When staff unlocked the door, the couple acted shocked that a single toilet room in a public eatery wasn't considered a private suite. The woman genuinely argued, "We locked the door. That means privacy." Yes, and locking your car doesn't turn it into a luxury spa with complimentary breakfast. The best part? The restaurant was a family restaurant, like Crayons on Tables family. The manager's face aged a decade in 30 seconds. 8. Of course, we have the couple who decided the fitting room wasn't private enough, so they upgraded to the store's storage area. Imagine thinking your best romantic option is between a tower of cardboard boxes and a sad, flickering light bulb. They triggered a security alarm, climbing into the back room, but instead of leaving, they continued as if nothing happened, even when employees loudly announced, "Security has been notified." Their justification: "We're adventurous." No, you're trespassers with a questionable understanding of boundaries. The only adventure here was the security guard's journey to find you behind a stack of winter coats from 4 seasons ago. 9. Fact 9. A couple was discovered in the back of a movie theater during a superhero film. They claim the movie inspired romance. Which part exactly? The alien invasion? The CGI explosions? The villain monologuing about power? Staff had to interrupt them mid-action, illuminated beautifully by the glow of the end credits, like two raccoons caught rummaging through a dumpster. The man later complained that the usher ruined the vibe. Sir, the vibe was ruined the moment you decided intimacy pairs well with $8 popcorn and the sticky floor experience. 10. Next, we have the geniuses who tried getting intimate on the roof of their apartment building because nothing says passion like air conditioning vents, loose gravel, and the constant threat of plummeting to your doom. A neighbor spotted them because, shocker, rooftops are not invisible zones. When police arrived, the couple insisted they didn't know anyone could see them. This is impressive, considering they were literally visible to half the block. Framed perfectly like a Renaissance painting nobody asked for. One officer reportedly said, "You know this isn't a balcony, right?" They did not know. Apparently, urban geography is optional. 11. Then there's the pair who thought the back of a rideshare was an ideal place to get frisky. Yes, because nothing improves the ambience like a stranger trapped in the front seat pretending not to exist. The driver begged them to stop, but they insisted they were in love, which is a beautiful sentiment and a terrible excuse for making someone's job exponentially more traumatic. When the driver pulled over, the couple accused him of ruining the moment. "Ma'am, if your moment can be ruined by a Toyota Corolla slowing down, it wasn't a powerful moment to begin with." 12. Fact 12 stars the duo who attempted intimacy in a photo booth, a tiny metal box designed for passport photos, not acrobatics. They emerged sweaty and disheveled, unaware that the booth had automatically printed out a full strip of photographic evidence, which the next customer collected with the enthusiasm of someone who just won a horror lottery. The couple claimed they had no idea the camera was active. That's what cameras do. That is literally their only job. If you walk into a toaster, fire will happen. If you walk into a camera booth, pictures will happen. This is not advanced technology. 13. Now, let's admire the romantic innovators who chose a department store tent display. Yes, a fully open tent on a sales floor, surrounded by employees, shoppers, and a child crying because he couldn't find the Lego aisle. Their logic was beautiful. We thought the tent gave us privacy. Do you know what else gives privacy? A wall. This tent had mesh windows. Mesh is not privacy. Mesh is honesty. They had to be escorted out while still trying to argue that tents symbolically represent intimacy. Yes, and store managers symbolically represent you need to leave. 14. Moving on to the couple who tried to get intimate in a drive-through. They thought that because the line wasn't moving, it was an ideal opportunity. They were wrong. Extra wrong. The security footage is apparently legendary, featuring a bored teenager at the window watching the car in front of him bounce like it's possessed by an enthusiastic poltergeist. When police arrived, the couple blamed the restaurant for taking too long. Incredible logic. Sir, waiting for fries is not a romantic crisis. No one has ever been driven to passion by an extra long wait time for chicken nuggets. 15. Finally, let's talk about the couple who went for intimacy in a museum. Surrounded by priceless artifacts, ancient sculptures, and quiet people contemplating the meaning of civilization, they decided the world needed one more exhibit. The exhibit of bad choices. They picked an alcove behind a statue, apparently unaware that cameras exist in museums for reasons other than catching art thieves. When security approached, the man insisted they were celebrating culture. Yes, nothing honors human artistic achievement like creating a live-action reenactment of why we can't have nice things. The security report described the scene as deeply educational, which is museum speak for we aged 20 years tonight. 16. One of my personal favorites is the couple who thought a laundromat at 3 a.m. was the perfect setting for romance, because nothing says passion like industrial detergent fumes and the rhythmic thumping of someone else's jeans being pulverized. They figured no one would show up at that hour. And that's exactly when a maintenance worker appeared, flipped on the blinding fluorescent lights, and found them perched on top of a vibrating washer like two people auditioning for the world's least sensual music video. The man tried to explain by saying, "We were just enjoying the spin cycle." Buddy, the only thing spinning was your dignity, and the machine, obviously. Mostly the machine. The maintenance worker simply said, "At least pick a dryer, they're warmer." That's when they finally stopped. 17. Then there's the couple who decided the romantic hotspot of their dreams was a public bus. Not the night bus, not a long empty route. No, they picked a fully loaded commuter bus at 4:45 p.m., also known as the eighth circle of weekday hell. They started quietly, then aggressively, as if the rest of the passengers were NPCs programmed to ignore them. Spoiler, they were not. When the bus driver stopped the bus and announced, "This is not that kind of service," the couple acted confused as though they had discovered a loophole in public transportation. My favorite part? A grandma sitting nearby loudly asked, "Are they charging admission?" Honestly, she deserved financial compensation for witnessing that live performance. 18. For fact. 18. Let's acknowledge the innovators who attempted intimacy in a dumpster enclosure behind a restaurant. Yes, surrounded by rotting lettuce, leaking bags, and the collective scent of humanity's worst decisions. They insisted it was private. Technically, yes, if your definition of privacy includes rats staging a coup. The restaurant manager discovered them when he went out to toss a trash bag and heard what he called an enthusiastic rustling. That's never a good sign in a dumpster area. When confronted, the couple claimed they were being spontaneous. Spontaneous is grabbing ice cream at 11 p.m. Spontaneous is taking a weekend trip, climbing into a trash cage for romance. That's performance art for people who hate audiences and hygiene. 19. Next, we honor the couple who tried getting intimate on a beach lifeguard tower in broad daylight, because nothing elevates romance like the possibility of being chased off a structure clearly labeled "Do Not Enter." They climbed up, made themselves comfortable, and apparently forgot that lifeguard towers have panoramic visibility to literally everyone on the beach. A family playing volleyball saw the whole thing. A jogger saw it. A seagull probably saw more than it ever wanted. When the lifeguard approached, the couple said they thought it was closed. Closed does not mean yours, but I admire the confidence. The lifeguard, trying desperately not to laugh, just said, "This is for saving lives." not whatever this is, a sentence he'll be repeating to his therapist for years. 20. Fact. 20 brings us to the geniuses who chose a crowded festival porta-potty. Yes, a porta-potty. Humanity's final frontier of absolutely not. They squeezed into the tiny plastic chamber of doom, which already smelled like the death of joy. The best part? They accidentally tipped it over. Yes, over, with them inside. The sound it made was legendary. Bystanders watched as the porta-potty fell like a tragic blue domino and rolled slightly, releasing a smell so aggressively apocalyptic that it briefly interrupted the music. When festival staff dragged them out, covered in existential regret, they tried to claim they slipped. Slipped? Sir, the only thing slipping was your reputation into the abyss. 21. Let's move on to the couple who selected a university classroom after hours because nothing arouses the human spirit like whiteboards covered in mathematical despair. They thought they were alone until a professor walked in to retrieve his forgotten laptop. He turned on the lights and discovered two extremely embarrassed students attempting something that was definitely not on the syllabus. The professor simply said, "This is not the group work I assigned." The male student, in a panic spiral, tried to explain they were studying anatomy. Yes, an excellent save, truly groundbreaking. The only anatomy lesson that happened was watching both of them sprint out of the room at speeds scientists have yet to explain. 22. Then there's the couple who went for it, inside a closed car dealership showroom. They snuck in through an unlocked side door, climbed into the back seat of a luxury SUV, and treated it like an all-inclusive resort. The problem? Motion sensors. The moment they started moving, every alarm in the building went off, lights flashed, sirens blared, and their grand romantic gesture became a full-on action sequence. Police arrived, expecting burglars, and instead found two people trying very hard to button and zip everything at record speed. Their explanation: "We wanted to see what the seats felt like." I'll tell you what they felt like: expensive, and now awkward for every future buyer. 23. Fact 23. A couple decided a furniture store bed display was basically free access to a temporary hotel suite. They slipped under the covers, fully forgetting that furniture stores have more cameras than Fort Knox. Also, that employees exist. The staff spotted them immediately and announced over the store intercom, "Customers in the mattress section, please remember displays are for testing firmness only." The couple did not take the hint. When confronted, they insisted they were just snuggling. The pile of discarded shoes on the floor suggested otherwise. The employee who found them described the scene as the reason we sanitize everything twice. 24. Now, let's visit the couple who chose the middle of a cornfield during a fall festival. Romantic? Sure. Private? Absolutely not. Cornfield's echo, their private moment, traveled through the stalks like a gossip tornado. A hayride full of families heard everything. The tractor driver reportedly muttered, "This happens every year," which is possibly the saddest cultural tradition I've ever encountered. When security tracked them down, the couple claimed they thought the corn absorbed sound. Corn is not a soundproof booth. Corn is a vegetable that now needs therapy. 25. Fact. 25 goes to the couple who attempted intimacy on a public hiking trail overlook. They thought sunrise would hide them. Sunrise did not hide them. Sunrise illuminated them like a pair of wildlife species engaging in a documentary mating ritual. A group of birdwatchers arrived and immediately became witness to a performance that was definitely not listed in their guidebook. One elderly man politely said, "You're scaring the finches." If the sentence, "You're scaring the finches," doesn't make you stop what you're doing, nothing will. Rangers issued them a citation for creating a disturbance, which is a very professional way of saying, "Please reconsider everything." 26. Here's a particularly bold one. A couple got caught in a bank lobby after hours. They were waiting for a friend with a keycard, got bored, and apparently decided boredom is nature's permission slip for bad decisions. Security cameras captured the entire event in HD, while the couple remained blissfully unaware that banks record everything constantly from 12 different angles. A guard watching remotely had to call police while trying not to laugh. The couple later insisted they thought the cameras turned off at night. Yes, just like how ATMs stopped dispensing money after 6 p.m., right? Incredible logic. Truly groundbreaking theories of finance at work. 27. For fact 27, we examine the couple who chose a fast food restaurant playground. Children's slides, ball pits, sticky surfaces. They waltzed in after closing and decided the top of the tube slide was romantic. They got stuck, physically stuck. Firefighters had to remove a plastic panel to extract them like two extremely confused hamsters. One firefighter reportedly said, "This is why we train." The couple tried to explain they were revisiting their youth. That's not youth. That's a developmental setback. 28. Now, let's talk about the duo who attempted intimacy on a boat tour, apparently under the assumption that open water meant open permission. They slipped to the back of the boat and started their covert operation, forgetting that boats rock. Movement plus water equals physics. Everyone on board knew exactly what was happening, including the captain, who made an announcement over the loudspeaker. "Folks, please remain seated unless you are absolutely sure you should be standing." Translation: please stop whatever nautical nonsense you're doing. When the couple emerged, pretending nothing happened, the captain simply nodded the nod of a man who had seen far too much. 29. Fact 29 brings us to the couple who tried getting intimate in a car parked directly under a streetlight. They acted shocked, when a police officer tapped on their window, as if parking under nature's spotlight was some kind of invisibility cloak. The man rolled down his window and said, "We didn't think anyone would see us." "Sir, the only way you'd be more visible is if you live streamed it." The officer, holding back every joke in human history, simply told them to choose wiser shadows. Honestly, that should be a greeting card. 30. Our second to last masterpiece, a couple went for it inside a high-end clothing boutique's display window. Yes, the window, the glass box specifically designed so that everyone walking by can see everything inside like a human aquarium. They assumed the tinted glass worked both ways. It did not. A crowd gathered outside as they continued their little performance completely unaware. Employees had to knock repeatedly before the couple finally realized they had unintentionally starred in the least fashionable runway show ever staged. When told the police were coming, the man said, "But we thought it was opaque." It wasn't at all. The glass was so clear it probably had its own Instagram account. 31. And finally, the crowned champion of misguided intimacy, a couple at a zoo who chose, wait for it, the reptile house. Yes, surrounded by snakes, lizards, warning signs, and humidity levels designed to simulate a swamp. They ducked behind an exhibit and began their personal nature documentary, fully unaware that a crowd of schoolchildren was approaching. A zookeeper caught them instantly and shouted, "This is a family environment." The couple claimed they were acting on instinct. Instinct? Instinct is what squirrels do. This was two adults making choices that endangered both their dignity and every python's emotional well-being. The zoo filed a trespassing ban, which is probably the nicest thing they could have done. Honestly, nature itself deserves an apology. And there it is, a full parade of human decision-making so questionable it should probably come with a warning label. If you've survived all that without losing hope for our species, congratulations, you're already ahead of the curve. Now tell me, which one deserves the Lifetime Achievement Award in Catastrophic Judgment? Drop your winner in the comments, argue about it, expose humanity further. You know, the usual. And if you want more beautifully stupid stories like these, you know exactly what buttons to hit.